So thinking of that, as part of our week of special reports, at Breakfast, Graham Satchell has been to meet media journalist Steve Hewlett. He's been treated for cancer of the esophagus and has been telling us why talking has helped him deal with his diagnosis.
What I was told is it's stage 4, it's advanced, it's metastatic, there are no surgical options. The best we can do is to offer you palliative chemotherapy.
Steve Hewlett was diagnosed with cancer of the esophagus in March. It spread to his liver. Today he's having a scan to check the size of his tumours.
If it's progress or progressive, you're in trouble. It's still working. So we don't want progress, we don't want progression, we want stability.
Steve has had chemotherapy and radiotherapy, but so far, neither has worked.
So if you were to stand back at the what option?
Steve is perhaps best known as a media commentator. He does a weekly show on Radio 4, but he's been a journalist all his life.
I've done lots and lots of things which other people are never going to be able to do. I spent 8 weeks locked up in the main people have done most of it. I regard myself as doing. I honestly thought, oh well, I looked for it.
The past few weeks, Steve has been telling Radio 4's Eddie Mayer about his cancer diagnosis.
Steve's been doing something most men don't do very much.
I do get these moments where you swell.
He's been talking about cancer, treatment, about life and death.
So I think talking about it has helped. It's certainly helped me. And I think more broadly, I'm beginning to get the sense that it's helping.
A meeting with an old friend, BBC presenter Nick Robinson, who was successfully treated for lung cancer last year.
You talked about your cancer relatively open. What sort of responses do you get?
Oh, well, extraordinary response. People reacted extraordinarily.
See, I found the same thing. It didn't feel like a big decision to me to talk about it. It felt sort of obvious.
Yeah, I think people are surprised, aren't they? They expect men to be closed up about it, not to talk about it. And I suspect both our fathers would have done exactly that.
So my dad actually died. None of us know, but he had prostate cancer. He didn't die of it, but
my father died of cancer, but we did know about it, but he didn't talk about it very widely, I think. And lots of people of his generation wouldn't have done that.
And I'm as frightened as anyone is about what will happen in the event that the end occurs. The people in my death will be most difficult, without any question at all, are my children, my loved ones. I won't be here.
Steve has 3 sons. Telling them was the hardest thing he's done.
There was a look in their eyes, which I'll never forget. What it is, you know what they mean to you. What you don't know, what you want to know.
Back in hospital, Steve's scan is almost done. The results show the tumours in his liver have grown, but he continues to explore treatment options and to talk. Graham Satchell, BBC News.
Oh, good to hear from Steve, really. We are meeting lots of different people who have different experiences of cancer all this week. Not all the stories are sad. There's lots of inspiration and hope as well.
Yeah, and a big thank you to Steve for sharing that story, his story, so honestly with us. If you'd like to get in touch with organisations that offer information and support, details are available bbc.co.uk/action line, and the number is there on your screen as well. You can get recorded information about cancer by calling 08000 560 190.
And both Dan and I are looking at so many messages being sent in from you. Thank you very much for those. We'll try and address some of the questions as well on Breakfast today and throughout the week, and all of them do get read by at least someone in production staff.
Yes, we've got a Macmillan nurse on later to answer some of your queries as well. Elsewhere today, the budget airline EasyJet has just posted a big fall in profits. Victoria's here with more on this, down 28% on last year.
Yeah, it's quite striking, isn't it? Good morning to you both. Now, you might remember that last month EasyJet issued its first profit warning since 2009. Now, today, the airline says it's delivered a resilient performance in the midst of a challenging environment. But the big news this morning is actually on Brexit. EasyJet has confirmed that it will set up a separate continental-based airline just in case it's unable to keep its current flying arrangement once Britain leaves the EU. Let's speak now to the Chief Executive, Carolyn McCall, who joins us now from central London. Good morning to you, Carolyn.
Good morning.
Now, in a nutshell, why are your profits down so much?
Well, because of the external shocks, it's been an extraordinary year. We've had 7 consecutive events, external events, very well documented. There's no surprise in these numbers at all, and we've had a devaluation of the pound against the dollar, which we buy our fuel in, and the euro, which a lot of our costs are in. So actually, it's a really strong performance from EasyJet. It's £500 million profit in a very testing airline environment at the moment. So we're very pleased with that. Our passenger numbers are up. We're carrying over 73 million passengers. We are, our loyalty is very strong. 54 million of our passengers rebook with EasyJet every single year. That's a very, very high figure, and we're the preferred brand. So our brand scores right the way across Europe, very, very strong indeed. So actually, very strong performance.
Carolyn, I want to get into this news today about Brexit and what you're doing there. Now, at the moment, you, amongst others, are part of this sort of aviation agreement that allows people to fly intra and into Europe. Now, why would you be setting up a separate air operator certificate if you didn't think that another agreement would be in place when Britain leaves the EU?
So we absolutely think there will be an agreement in place between the UK and the EU. We are the largest aviation market in Europe, so we have confidence around that. What we are doing is we're setting up an operating company in the EU which formalises what we already do in Europe. You say we're setting up Continental Airline. We're not. We're EasyJet. We have a Swiss AOC with 23 aircraft registered there. We have a UK AOC at the moment which runs very, very effectively, and we are going to set up an EU operating company. So that's all we're doing. That means we will formalise registering the aircraft that already operate in Europe, over 100. We have over 3,000 people based in Europe today. And all that does is secure our flying rights inter and intra-Europe, which would seize if there was no agreement in place. We're not saying there won't be an agreement, but we don't know what shape and form that agreement will take. And it will take us at least 12 to 18 months to set up an operating company. And it might take 2.25 years for an agreement to be announced between the UK and the EU. So we don't have the luxury of waiting. We have to take control of our own destiny, and that's what we've done. Can I also be clear, though, that the UK headquarters of EasyJet will remain in Luton. So, we are very proud of being the UK's largest airline. We are growing in the UK. In fact, half of our growth this coming year goes into the UK. So we absolutely believe that there are lots of opportunities within all of this, and we're going to take those.
Now, Carolyn, you're in your 3rd year of a 7-year contract with Gatwick Airport. Do you support the decision to expand at Heathrow rather than at Gatwick?
We work very, very well with Gatwick. We are the #1 airline there by a long way. It's a very good airport for passengers, and there's been a lot of investment in that airport. The reason we supported the decision for Heathrow is that's where the demand from airlines is, mainly long-haul airlines. There is no capacity left at Heathrow, and slot pairs at Heathrow go for an exorbitant amount of money. So actually, the demand is around Heathrow. I think it's showed a very big kind of symbol of Britain being very open for business, and I think that has been received very positively right the way across the UK, but also right the way across the world, actually.
Okay, Carolyn McCall, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time. So his profits coming in about 28% lower for the full year. We did have a profit warning. We did know that this was coming. Some serious headwinds in this industry.
Victoria, thank you very much. We'll see you a little bit later. Thank you.
Let's get some news, some travel, and some weather wherever you're watching. Stay with us. We'll be with you in a couple of minutes' time.
Very good morning, I'm Assad Ahmed. Members of the Prison Officers Association at Pentonville Prison are holding protests over what it calls are unsafe working conditions which its members are being forced to endure. These pictures of staff outside Pentonville were taken a few minutes ago. It's where a man was murdered last month and 2 inmates managed to escape. The Ministry of Justice says that there's no justification for the action. A concert celebrating the life of a Londoner killed in last year's Bataclan theatre attack in Paris a year ago is to take place at the Shepherd's Bush Empire tonight. 35-year-old Nick Alexander was a roadie for the US band Eagles of Death Metal, which was performing in the theatre last November when terrorists stormed the building, killing dozens of people inside. Performing at Shepherd's Bush tonight include Travis frontman Frankie. Property owners in London who use the home rental website Airbnb could face restrictions if London follows Berlin's example of banning entire properties being advertised on the site. The reason is that there's growing concern that homes are being taken out of the normal rental market in favour of Airbnb. Well, London Mayor City Khan is reviewing current laws in place to see if the site is having a negative effect on our rental market. Well, Airbnb says it's just allowing people to afford to live in London. In Berlin, though, restrictions are in place.
They talk about sharing economy. That sounds pretty good. But in reality, it is a big business, and the end of this business is that we lose so many flats for ordinary people in our cities, and that's a problem.
Let's take a look at the travel situation now. If we look at the tube board, you see the London Overground. That has no service between Stratford and Canterbury because of a broken down freight train. There are minor delays on parts of the other line too. On the roads, the southbound exit slip road from the A12 at Bow is closed because of a car fire just on the right hand side of your screen there, queues from the Green Man Tunnel. While in Upper Holloway, the A1 remains closed southbound National Archway as work is carried out on the bridge there. Look at the weather forecast now.
Good morning. It was a cloudy night, not great conditions for looking at the supermoon, but for this morning it means it's a mild start and we're hanging on to that cloud. It is going to stay rather cloudy, rather grey through much of the day. Spots of rain potentially more likely though this afternoon. The wind is still light, these outbreaks of rain will move in towards the end of the day. The maximum